So this is the ultimate streaming budget projector. Why? Two reasons. Number one, this is officially licensed by Netflix. This actually has the logo right on here with Netflix. I've not seen that in another projector before. Number two is this actually supports Dolby audio, which is another huge spec as well. Now that Dolby audio thing is a big of an issue that I actually had to make a whole video on that in the past, and it kind of blew up, and it's one that I still get traction on and still get comments on to this day. If your projector did not support Dolby audio, you'd have to go in there yourself and go into sound settings and change them off of that so that your sound would actually play. So with this, everything is done for you. You've got the Dolby audio that's gonna run on this well. You've got built-in apps, Netflix, Hulu, Prime Video, all the main ones are on here. So this is an awesome budget streaming projector. So let's get into this. I'm going to show you the setup, I'm going to show you the picture quality, audio, all of it. The company did send this projector over and sponsored this video so that I could make this video for you without having to give me anything I needed to talk about or anything I had to say. So setup of this projector was really easy. You basically turn it on, it goes through, and asks you about your language, your region. It actually then prompts you to sign into Netflix, and I was able to do that, and it just pulls up the Netflix app, and it's very easy to do. I was able to then do that through my phone actually. And if you're already signed in on your phone like that, doing the QR code on the actual screen here will make that very simple to do. So this is the home menu for this projector. So this looks really nice. You can see I'm kind of impressed. I finally got the screen dialed in where this entire screen I feel like is pretty sharp. So you got the time and settings menu and stuff up here. Inputs, you can change your sources over. Got your settings right into here. You can see different picture mode settings you can kind of customize within here. I'm just going with the stock ones right now. Audio settings, you can kind of change those a little bit as well. Bluetooth, this does have Bluetooth connection. You can also just use that aux line to just go straight out to a speaker. There's probably gonna be a little bit of lag with that Bluetooth if you do go that route, but that allows you to hook up, obviously to another speaker, a sound system or something. Network settings, it did prompt me when I first started up to sign into my network, so I already did that, and that was very simple to do. So here's the zoom. Zoom is kind of counterintuitive with these because you're actually zooming out realistically. So you can go from 50% to 100%. So I had it at 100%. You can get it all the way this small if you had to, if you needed to make it a smaller picture based on your setup and kind of where you're at. So that's kind of neat to know. We'll go back to 100% here. And right now this is 100 inches diagonal that you're watching this on. Key setup. If I hit the dot in the center of my remote here, you can see it's jumping around to each of these corners here, and then I can bring them in. So you can't go out any further from the edges, but with this one you can come inward if you needed to. And then this also was one of the prompts at the start. It asks you to select which way you're projecting. So if you have this up on the ceiling or you're doing front or rear, you can set it up differently. So this is an officially licensed Netflix projector with these other apps I mentioned. It is different from a Google TV projector. Those ones, you kind of have that Google Play Store and you can add other apps and things like that. There's also some other drawbacks with that I'm gonna discuss. But with this one, this is more simplified. You cannot put other apps onto it. There is no Google App Store, but this does have pretty much all of the major players as I'm gonna show you here. The biggest positive with that is you get a fully functioning Netflix app that's baked right into the projector. You don't even have to install it, it's already there for you. On a separate projector I've just recently reviewed actually, it had the Google TV system kind of on there. And with that Netflix app that was on it, it was actually more of like a tablet version. And it was just really hard to navigate. You had to kind of use the cursor and use your mouse to kind of go up and down. And it really just was not intuitive. And honestly, it was bad enough I recommended other people to kind of just use an external Fire Stick or something like that still anyway. So all of these apps on here are great. They're fully functioning. And you get Netflix, Disney+, Hulu, Prime Video, and YouTube all included. So pretty much everything that I ever want is on this projector already. But back to this main menu. There's a lot on here. You get the Netflix app, you got YouTube, YouTube Kids, Prime Video's already on here. You got some of these other options as you can kind of see me scrolling. It pulls up automatically the Netflix right here. Kind of has like your continue watching and suggestions and stuff right there. So that's pretty neat. It's kind of almost mirroring like a Fire TV OS. There's some games and stuff you can pull up here, I guess, too. So here we go. I was looking for Hulu and how to add that. So when I went to the next page here, went to App Assistant, and there it is. Our screen share, Disney Plus is right there, Hulu's right there. So I can hit download on that, and I can hit download on Disney Plus here, and now those are downloading. So now they're appearing right there. So that's really awesome. So yeah, all the big ones are here. It's nice because a lot of these apps that are on here, they'll kind of prompt you where you can go sign in on your phone then, and you get the little code you can scan. So that's what I did, and it was very simple to get my credentials into that Netflix app on this projector. So as I mentioned, I'm a really big fan of this Netflix app. This one works really well. It's just as intuitive if you're accessing this through like a Fire Stick or just through your TV natively as well. So here's a little bit of Netflix you can see here, just allowing this to kind of play this little slideshow. Looks pretty good. This is in complete darkness. This is 500 anti-lumens. So you are not going to really want to use this in like daytime conditions or with windows open and stuff like that. This is definitely going to be suited for nighttime use, and you can see here in nighttime and dark conditions it looks pretty good. Just to give you an idea, this is what it would look like if you do flip the lights on. So if we have the lights on pretty bright, you can see there it's going to be pretty washed out. I mean, it's still visible, but this is just not going to be the ideal conditions for this. Now for your picture quality, this is 500 ANSI lumens. It's a native 1080p for the picture. And with this, you also have a manual focus and keystone correction on here. So that's one of my critiques. I did kind of get used to having the electronic keystone and focusing on some of the recent projectors I've been testing. I feel like that is becoming a little bit more standard. And on this model, you have the manual options. Kind of like I always recommend to people, if you can try not to have to use that manual keystone correction, that's going to give you the best picture quality. I did notice with this, if I started using that keystone a little bit more, some of the text almost had a slight ghosting a little bit. So you always want to get that as level as you can without having to really touch that keystone. And then the focus wheel is the focus wheel. You kind of dial that in as you go. The further away you have this, the bigger your picture is going to be. The closer you move it to the wall or your screen, the smaller it's going to be. So that's kind of how you set this up. So I'm going to show you guys here some of the video quality of some of the stock footage I've got. See, pretty good quality, contrast, colors, pretty good details. I was pretty impressed when we looked at like the text in some of these, apps and Netflix and things like that, YouTube especially. The text looks really nice and crisp and pops. You can see here some of the brighter colors, it looks pretty good. Get some pretty good details in like the palm trees and stuff here, you can kind of tell. Deeper colors here look pretty decent. I don't see anything like washed out or overblown. I mean, even the sky, some of the dynamic range on this with the far left and the dark, and then, the bright sky here looks pretty decent to me too. Again, yeah, pretty good detail there, I think. 1080p, full HD. This is a good one, seeing all the detail kind of, in the feathers and everything, and on the head and face here, you can see pretty nice. The remote for this is really nice as well. It's got those hotkey buttons on there so you can access a lot of those apps immediately without having to go through the menu interface. Although the menu interface on here is very clean and it's very easy to navigate. I'm a big fan of that. Everything's presented very nicely, and it's easy to kind of go in and out of those apps and to see those suggestions that they even give you. So as I mentioned, the apps that are on there are basically the ones that are supported. You can't do any other external apps. The main ones that are left off are Paramount Plus, Max, which used to be HBO Max, as well as Apple TV. So if you do want to access those, that just means you're going to have to hook up another way, say through like a Fire Stick or something like that still. Otherwise though, if you're fine with those other apps like I mentioned, Hulu, Netflix, Prime Video, YouTube, theoretically, as long as you have an internet connection or if you hotspot off of your phone or something like that, you could take this with you. You could use it in the backyard, you could take it camping, and you'd have access to all these built-in apps. So that is one of the biggest draws of a projector like this. Having all those apps just on your device, you don't have to bring anything externally as well. The speakers on this are good enough as well that then I think you can really just get by with using the speakers on this projector for probably 90% of people. You can't always hook up external speakers as well. There's the aux output you can use to run it to a speaker that way. This does have Bluetooth as well, so you can hook up by Bluetooth. Sometimes with Bluetooth, you're still going to get a little bit of a lag, so if you're really a stickler and you don't want any lag with Bluetooth, then you'll have to hook up physically. So guys, there's a final test here. This is one of my other YouTube channels. I'm going to play this video and kind of let you hear this audio and what this sounds like. So this is set to about 20 for the audio right now. You can see here at the bottom. So listen to this. I'm about like 3-4 feet away here, and this is what this sounds like.
PS4 mini watch is my main watch for the last month, and I'm going to go through and highlight some of my biggest takeaways. The first thing that I noticed right off the bat that was amazing compared to so many
Okay, we're gonna bump it up a little bit here. We'll go up to 50. Let's go halfway.
Easily 10 to 12 days without having to even think about recharging my watch. And this of course is going to depend on a lot of different settings that you have. I'm someone that easily works out 6 times a week at least.
Okay, let's go up even more here. So far it sounds good. I mean, this is plenty loud for me in this room that I'm in. I probably wouldn't really need it any louder than that 50%, honestly. Here's 75.
Charging it every night like I had to do with my Apple Watch. And when it does run out of battery, it recharges in about 2 hours. So it's nice and quick.
So that's actually really loud. That's louder definitely than I would want to have that. Listening to that, let's go all the way to the max just to test it out. Okay, here we go.
The look of it and the interface. This is very similar to a lot of smartwatches out there. It's just slightly smaller than the Apple Watch and a handful of other smartwatches. This is a 1.65 AMOLED display.
Okay, so just a little bit, there was maybe one part there where it kind of like peaked a little bit and, you know, got a little bit distorted, but otherwise, I mean, it gets super loud. Using this in a standard room or a size office like I'm in right here, I'd say between that 20 to 50 out of 100 is plenty enough volume. There wasn't really any distortion until I kind of got to that upper range, but I really think you can get by without hooking up an external speaker to this. It's got stereo speakers and they sound pretty darn good. Speaking of the portability and hooking things up to this does have 2.4G and 5G access, so you can hook up either way like that. If you're going to use the wireless screen mirroring for your one is for your iPhone, one is more Miracast for your Android devices. On an Android phone, you just pull down from the top, you know, do your screencasting. Same thing with the AirPlay. I'll show you right here how I did that. The only thing is I'm not a big fan of using those really, because when you do that, you're kind of at mercy of connection and your phone and, you know, your internet and things like that. You may have some interference, but yeah, if you need to, if you want to do more just like a photo slideshow or things like that, you can wirelessly mirror your screen from your phone over to this projector. I'm going to show you here. We'll go to the sources. I've got my laptop hooked up to this right now just to show you. I'm going to show you some of my test footage I have on there. So I'm actually pretty impressed. The clarity of this, I can see a pretty good amount of like even my small, you know, thumbnails on here. I can read that text actually pretty decently. So if you want to use this for a little bit of like light computer work, so even on X here, I'm actually super impressed with the quality of this. I mean, you could see all of this very clearly for the text. You can legitimately use this like, you know, a little bit with your laptop and going on websites, you know, browsing Amazon, things like that. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments there. I think that this is one of the best budget projectors that's out right now. I think this is the best one I've tested. I've been testing projectors back since 2016, and in this budget space especially. This basically gives everything most people are ever going to need. You have these apps natively on here. You don't have to mess around with downloading things and putting other things on there. The sound quality is pretty excellent, and that Dolby audio on there is the big plus as well. This is a really awesome projector, great budget projector. There's going to be a link in the comments and description that is an affiliate link. Please like the video if you found this helpful. Subscribe for more home theater content like this, and I'll see you on the next one.